Welcome to the Life in Michigan podcast. Life in Michigan is more than an online magazine. We share the stories, experiences, and vibrant personalities that make the Great Lakes state truly unique. In this podcast, we bring you inspiring, heartwarming, and sometimes unexpected conversations with people who call Michigan home. From the rugged beauty of the Upper Peninsula to the bustling creativity of Kalamazoo, we'll cover the stories and define what it means to live, work, and play in Michigan. Today on the Life in Michigan podcast, we are joined by Ann Arbor filmmaker Christina Morales Hemenway of Dancingstar Productions. Christina has produced 6 feature films and is a veteran of both the Hollywood studio system and the Michigan independent scene. In this episode, we are talking about her mission to create uplifting cinema, the hurdles of filming in Michigan, and her upcoming film set in Ann Arbor in 1969 called Universal Chord. Christina, welcome to the Life in Michigan podcast. Thank you so much.
Hello. Thank you so much, Chuck and Brenda.
Yeah, we got to meet you at the Creative Washtenaw, one of the after hours or the happy hours, and I said, "Hey, would you, be willing to be on the podcast?" And you were like, "Yeah, sure." So I was like, "Oh, all right, this is awesome."
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, when I heard that you guys were doing that, I was like, ooh, I would like to be a part of that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Well, you know, for the folks that are listening, maybe you can just give a little background of who you are and what you do and Dancingstar Productions.
Okay. Yeah, so born and raised in Ann Arbor, Michigan. I had a passion, like I say, out of the womb, I was singing and dancing. I wanted to be a performer, and I really wanted to move to Hollywood. I wanted my mom to become my agent, and she said, "No, you will have a childhood. You will stay here. When you're 18, you can do what you want." So I pretty much did everything I could in the Ann Arbor area, was a part of YPT and, other organizations.
So what is YPT?
Young People's Theater,
Okay.
and the Performance Network was going at the
Mm.
time, and, just did everything I could in this area. And then I got admitted to Cal Arts, California Institute of the Arts out in Valencia, California. So I went there. Oh, the other opportunity that I had in Ann Arbor, um, Marcel Marceau wanted to start a World Center for Mime here.
Oh,
So I actually was able to win a scholarship or earn a scholarship to go and study with the greatest mimes in all the world in Ann Arbor, Michigan. So that was like a
wow.
really wonderful experience here.
Yeah.
Um, so then I went to Cal Arts. I was earning a performance degree. Um, but in the process, I realized that I like the writing and the directing more than the acting. Um, so I kind of transitioned, and upon graduating, I just announced to everyone I knew that I was going to do a feature film and they could come on board if they wanted. So we did like a no budget kind of feature film. Um, Nobody will actually see that film because um, I was working at either Fine Line or New Line. I can't remember. It was one of those. I was just working as a temp. And they said, "Hey, we heard that you wrote, directed, produced, and starred in your own movie. We would really like to see it." And I said, "I would love to show it to you. I only have the master right now. So as soon as I have a copy, I'll show it to you." And they said, "Oh, don't worry about it. We have a courier service that's completely insured. We'll have it back to you by 4 p.m. this afternoon." Never saw it again.
Oh no.
No.
Really?
Yeah. So that
Oh.
kind of spurred my need
Oh.
to do it independently, to do it on my own, and not really trust the studios. So we are now 6 feature films in. I moved back to Ann Arbor in about 2005, right after we shot Dreammaker out in Los Angeles. Um, and I moved back with the intention of starting a family. My family is still here. Elmo is Elmo's t-shirts, and my mom was here at the time. She's since passed, but we wanted to start a family and our children be close to their grandparents. So now I've been just trying to kind of do it on my own from outside the Hollywood, and studio system. But it was nice. We just premiered our latest film, Get Real, out in Los Angeles,
Oh,
and had
nice.
a retrospective of the rest of the films as well. So I'm just getting back from that.
Wow, that's
Yeah.
fantastic. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
What a
So,
journey.
yeah, really? Holy cow.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
So by chance, did you go to uh um the now I've lost the name of it. It's where Izzy went to high school.
Oh, community high?
Pioneer?
Community High.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
no, community. Did you go to community by chance?
I did, yes. My dad worked at Community for, I think, 34 years. Um, and so he was there when I was there. I never had a class with him because he was a gym teacher and I always did dance as my option. But yeah, I went to both Pioneer and Community.
Ah.
And because my dad worked there, I was the first to learn about the dual enrollment program. In fact, I think I was the first guinea pig, like to go back and forth. It was me and I think John McKnight were the first to go back and forth. And we were literally going back and forth in between each class. So we'd have one class at Community, one class at Pioneer, then one class at Community. So we were going back and forth in the bus.
Oh, man.
But yeah, I loved my community experience. I had a lot of really great mentors from there. And it was just, at the time, you don't think about, like, you don't have to pay for rehearsal space, So
Yeah.
I was acting and singing and dancing all in one day. And, when you're outside of a school system, if you want to do that, you've got to pay for rehearsal space. You can't just go someplace and do that or, so I think I didn't realize how lucky I was at the time, but I still had a great experience there. And I also really appreciated, at the time it was known as like the druggy hippie burnout school for the
Right.
people who couldn't hack it in the other schools. But I think what they learned is that they were mostly artists.
Hmm.
Mhm.
And so they learned how to teach artists. And I've seen it flourish over the years. And it's something I'm proud of, something, I feel really, really good about.
Nice.
Yeah. Uh, Izzy, um, our youngest, went to community and got involved in theater, and I
Oh,
was just like, that just doesn't seem like I don't know who this person is. And then we went to one of the productions, and I was like, who is this person? And like
wow.
that was the thing I feel like community did was kind of like nurture this like spark, like that you don't as a parent necessarily see. Yeah,
Beautiful.
it
Oh, I
was.
love that.
It was a really cool experience.
Yeah, well, I would love, are they still there? Still at community or?
Oh no, they have since graduated
Oh,
and
okay.
they now work at Ipsy Ale House as a bartender. So maybe you might
Awesome.
run
Okay.
it.
And are they still doing any acting or anything like that, or just acting in front of customers?
Probably just acting in front of the customers. Probably
Okay.
why they're successful as bartender over there.
Right.
Oh yeah.
The reason I ask is I am going to be looking for like 17-year-olds or people to play 17-year-olds in my next film, Universal Chord, which we want to be shooting next summer here. It's about a 17-year-old girl who switches bodies with her grandmother's 17-year-old body in 1969, Ann Arbor.
Oh,
Oh,
So
fun.
we have Sally Struthers on board for
Oh,
that
wow.
from All in the Family and Gilmore Girls. And
Yeah.
now, what's the series she's on right now? Um,
Oh, I remember
Man on the
seeing it.
Inside with
Yeah.
Ted Danson.
Ted
She's on
Danson.
that
Yeah.
right now. Anyway, that piece interweaves, basically a narrative, and so it's both fictitious and historical. She goes back in time and meets Iggy Pop, who of course graduated from university or from Pioneer. So it's a very kind of Ann Arbor centric
that's
tape.
fun.
And
Yeah.
we're
That
hoping to get local teens involved in that.
Well, they are now 30. So
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
not quite a teen
Okay,
anymore,
Yeah.
but
okay.
yeah, but
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
know, I'm sure we can help find some teens that might want to get involved.
that would
Yeah.
be great.
Yeah.
So, I'm so glad we met you at Creative Washington, at the Creative Washington Happy Hour. Um, and now that you're back, what has it been like to get plugged into the art and film scene here again, after, it's coming back? And what would you suggest to somebody that's, like here? Like what would you suggest they do to get plugged in?
That's a good question. I do find it challenging. The coasts have more artistic outlets. And to be honest, I feel like Ann Arbor really promotes itself as an artistic community, but I maybe in comparison, it's hard for me. It's
Mhm.
I don't feel like there's a
Fair.
lot of cross collaboration. Um, I tried to start something called the Scene Arts and Entertainment Ann Arbor that would be like a visual hub of all of the arts organizations. And I felt like each organization really wanted to do their own thing and wasn't so much into cross promoting each other's works. Um, and so I do sense that there's um, some competition in the Ann Arbor scene, which um, kind of, kills relationships sometimes,
Yeah.
meaning, you know, we all love each other, all the organizations, they love each other, all of that, but we're also competing for the same dollars.
Hmm.
There's a small pool of people who donate to the arts. And so there's kind of this competition aspect as well. So that's just being, from in terms of me integrating into this,
Yeah.
I feel like I've had a challenging time. Um, in terms of maybe youth getting involved in things, I do think that there are organizations that people can get involved in. And like I said, each organization is kind of, I find, a little insular, but there are ways that you can get involved. Um, for my company in particular, we have an offshoot of Dancingstar Productions that is a Dancing Star Creative Academy. So they can learn about, we have online videos and in-person sessions where people can learn about how to break into the business of filmmaking and making their own movies and that kind of thing. I'm not sure. Did that fully answer your
It
question?
it did. Like I was just kind of curious, like, like I'm so far removed from the film world and
Mm.
creating all, like the film scene.
Hmm.
Um, but and I was just curious about it because I do think finding the right networking, I hate the word networking, but the right groups to connect with and help you connect with other people in Michigan and in Ann Arbor in particular, it's kind of tough.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why I was so happy to find Creative Washtenaw,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
they they have helped us get connected with a lot of very interesting people that we would have
Good.
never, like you, we would have never crossed paths with you.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. I really appreciate
maybe, but I don't.
that. Yeah, I appreciate that. I appreciate the advocacy work that they've done in the past too.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Really getting out the stats about artists and what they make and what they don't make, and how they impact the economic bottom line and all of that. So I think it's been a really good organization for that.
yeah.
So, I was thinking when you were talking about moving back here in 2005, because at the time, for a brief period of time, Michigan had basically a tax credit for film production, and at that time, it seemed like there was just this rush of like, because I even was an extra in a movie, and I was like, oh, this is going to be awesome, and then it ended, and I'm
Yeah.
wondering how much of an impact did that have on you? I'm going to guess it was significant, but
Huge. Yeah, because I'd always had my family in Ann Arbor and my career out in LA. And then I moved back, and all of a sudden I could possibly have them both where I was, and that was really exciting for me. We ended up shooting what's now called Angel Moon. At the time, it was called Naked Angel, in 2009, I believe, using the incentive program. And that was fantastic. It was great. It was such an exciting time, and it was devastating when they pulled that. And I felt like it was so short-sighted. I felt
Yeah.
like there, in my application process, I saw ways that I was like, ooh, this is not tailored that well for Michigan. But they could have made slight changes that would have made all the difference. I can't remember what the percentages were, but you had to have a certain percentage of in-state hires and a percentage of out-state, and so out of state. And I think if they switched those percentages but kept, because it was 42% rebate, which was fantastic.
Yeah.
That made it so that we were on the top, either one or two of all the incentive programs. So if you're a producer and you get a list of what are the best incentive programs, we were like right up there, right?
Yeah.
So if they would have kept that but changed the percentage of in-state and out-of-state hires, I think that would have made all the difference. Because, you know, if if you want to get what's called above the line talent,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to mostly want to go to the coast for that. So you're going to want to have out-of-state talent. But, having your gaffers, your crew, and everybody from Michigan, that would have made a huge difference, economically.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I felt
Do you,
like it was really short-sighted, and so many of my friends have moved because of that.
do you think there's any chance that they'll bring it back, or is that
They are
kind of
trying,
yeah?
and I wish all the best. It's one of those things where you kind of like, oh, maybe it's close, it's close, it's close, it's not. No, it didn't happen. So it's over and over again. It's nothing I can hang my hat on.
Yeah.
And when I've talked to other producers, like with this next movie, Universal Chord, they're like, "Are you sure you have to do it in Ann Arbor? Can't we do it,
Yeah. A
in
soundstage in it.
Oregon
Yeah.
or something?" I'm like, It's really a University of Michigan. I really need the big house to be in it. I need,
Yeah.
but producers are trying to get me to not shoot in Michigan. Hmm.
Wow. That's a bummer. Yeah.
That is.
So,
Hmm.
so I'm curious, like, just the storytelling aspect. What is it? What do you think is the most rewarding part of producing a movie for you? Is it like just coming up with, working with people to come up with an idea for a story that you want to tell, or is it the actual like nuts and bolts of, you know, getting that whole project lined up and then shooting it?
For me, it's the writing, coming up with the idea, and then just having to channel it, just having to get it out of me. That feels really good. Um, it's challenging for me to like set it all up. The producing aspect, I'll be honest, I don't like. It's like it's like just the part of the job I have to do to get ready for the baby to come, and but then having the baby is great, and so and I love working with actors. I love um just watching them flourish and helping them get the best performance. That's really exciting for me. And then sitting down and watching the movie with friends and family, like that, being at the Michigan Theater with, I don't know, 1,000 people all watching this movie that I came up with in my mind, that is now better than it could have been because of all the people who have contributed to it. Um, and I'll just share one story. Um, it was really impactful. So Angel Moon, which was Naked Angel, is about a man who was um, wanting to commit suicide, but he falls in love with his guardian angel and he's inspired to live again. And it was not, or thus far, has not been a financially successful movie. But a dear friend of mine came up to me afterwards and he said, I was planning on ending my life tonight and I watched your
Yeah.
movie and I've completely shifted my thinking around it.
Wow.
And,
Oh, wow.
something like that is
Yeah.
immeasurable. It is completely priceless. There's no dollar amount that you can put on someone's life and the impact of something like that. So, um, those are the kinds of things that make me feel like, okay, I'm doing something that matters.
That's
Um,
awesome.
yeah,
Awesome.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Where can people, if they wanted to find the movies, are they streaming? Do they have to rent them? Like, how do you find that?
Yeah, so all of them can be seen on, or all of them except for the first one that studio
Yeah.
stole. um, um, dancingstarproductions.com. So Dancingstar singular productions plural.com. You go on there, you click on um, uh, stream films here, and then it'll take you to Vimeo. You have to open a free account. Um, and I think it's like 5.55 for a rental.
Okay.
Um, you can see, like as an example, Bride Plus One is on Amazon Prime and Apple TV and all of the different places. You'll still pay 5.55, but I'll get 50 cents. Whereas
Oh.
if you go to dancingstarproductions.com, I'll get that 5.55.
All right. There you
And it
go.
really helps in terms of our bottom line.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Every penny counts.
Wow.
yeah,
I had no idea that there was that much of a
big
slate.
difference.
Wow.
Big,
That's
big difference. And that's
wow.
true, for streaming services for musicians and stuff. If you
True.
can buy directly from the musician, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
We also have, so we have all of the feature films are on there, and then also all of the how-to videos are on there too. So if you want to learn how to budget a movie, if you want to learn how to write a screenplay, all of those videos are up there too.
So
Wow.
do you
That's
have
cool.
content that might, I'm not going to become a movie maker, but one of the things I'm plagued with is this idea that I should be doing at least little clips or doing something to promote our content
Hmm.
visually with video.
Hmm.
And that's just
Yeah.
not my skill set. It's not my wheelhouse. Like I'm a writer and Chuck's a photographer and he's a writer and we do it all very visually based in like non
Stills. Yeah.
yeah stills. So what would you do you have content on your site that would be
Yeah.
helpful to people like me that are just like I just need to know like a little bit, I just
Yeah.
need to get yeah.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's called content creator. Um, and so it's under the Dancing Star Teachers Training Program, and it's like a, 5.55 rental. And it just kind of breaks down, you know, different things, little things that people might not know that like this makes you, this is a podcast, so you really can't see this,
Right.
but like if you're at the bottom of your screen, that's going to make you seem more inferior. If you're going to be up here, it's more, yeah, that you're more dominant. Or if you're in the middle of the screen, it's going to be more of a peer relationship. Just those kinds of things that someone who's just using their phone might be able to really benefit from.
Oh, that's cool. I didn't even realize. I had not thought of that. Like just positioning, like
Yeah.
how the perspective would
Like
change.
I'm down
Yeah.
here.
Well, I'm
Yeah.
gonna have to look that up because it's one of the things that I need to get better at.
Hmm.
And Chuck is going to cringe. He's going to cringe because I have a list I'm starting for 2026 that we're going to tackle. Can you
Oh
can't see
man.
him. The rest of the world can't see him, but I can see him. I can feel it coming from the other room. He
Right.
doesn't.
Brenda loves lists. I'm just like, you know, not see the pants, but I don't know. I don't have lists.
Well, this actually segues into something kind of unrelated, but related. So I also I'm a presence coach, and I go into corporations and I teach about body language and tone of voice, and different communication styles.
Oh,
So um, I'm gonna assume that Chuck, you're more of a D communication style, and Brenda is more of a C communication style, because one of the things that they talk about is like lists make a C person just feel so satisfied. Like, oh, I checked that off, I checked that off, and then a D communication style is like, just just tell me, like basically when it's really important, let me know.
yeah, that's it. That's it. It's
Yeah.
exactly it.
So, yeah,
Oh,
I would like to do a communication style workshop, maybe even online soon. So I'll let you know if I
all
end up.
right. Yeah,
Yeah, that
that'll
would
be
be
fun.
great. That would
Yeah.
be
Yeah.
fun. I think that you should pitch it to Creative Washington, and they
Mm.
could have you come in and do it. It would be
Yeah.
great
There you
fun.
go.
Yeah, that's a
Yeah.
great idea. Yeah, because I have seen such changes from a workshop like that, where someone has been like, it's as if they're speaking German the whole time to people who all speak French, and they have no idea why their message is not getting across. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think that would be really beneficial for them. Yeah.
So, oh, go ahead, babe.
No, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to ask, related to like visual storytelling. You, I love movies. I think many people love movies, but what is what do you find is the most challenging part of making a movie that presents the ideas that you want to get across? Or do you not worry about it and you're just like, here's something that somebody can digest and take from it what they will?
Hmm. Well, I would have to say the most challenging part is the fundraising part and getting the
Right.
money. But then when you actually are doing it, um, I love the psychology of the shot. I love, going, okay, this is going to make the audience feel this way, or, choosing the shot that is going to impact. As an example, um, there was a shot where in Bride Plus One, I play a 39-year-old Latina that has never been married and really wants kids. So she decides she's just going to throw her own wedding and just hope that a groom will show up. And so, you know, there's one shot that I'm thinking of in particular where we put the camera behind a cake with 39 on it, and the camera is pushing in on her. So the cake is pushing in on her as she's like, kind of going back the cake, and the the servers and everyone there, they're singing happy birthday in kind of an off-key way. So it's like it becomes almost like a horror movie with this
The
39
cake.
coming at her, that she's not married yet, she doesn't have kids yet, and it just feels like it's pushing in on her. So like picking the shots, I love the psychology of the shot, and how that's going to impact someone. So yes, a lot of thought does go into choosing the visual images, and you know figuring out whose story it is, how you see it. um Dreammaker, the first one, or I guess the second one, um, has a very voyeuristic point of view. So if you'll look at that, everything has something in the foreground. So
Oh,
it's like your view is being obstructed. So you have to kind of look through
yeah.
things. And then at the end you'll find out why. But those kinds of things are fascinating to me. Um, and then along those lines, I feel like we have a responsibility as filmmakers to create images that are beneficial for people. Meaning, like, okay, so people love horror films, it does something for them, it does nothing for me, and I just don't like it. It doesn't make me feel better. Um, And so when someone is in a dark movie theater and their eyes are lifted toward the screen, there is a hypnotic suggestion that is happening. And so I feel a responsibility as a filmmaker to create uplifting images so that people, when they leave the theater, feel better than they did when they came in.
Nice. I like that.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
don't like horror movies. Chuck does a little bit.
Yeah, it
He,
Yeah,
depends.
there's something that, it,
Yeah.
it does something for some people, but it does not do good things for me. Yeah.
um, so you do teaching and mentoring. Um, what do you hope people will take away from that when you're working with them beyond like technical skills? Like, like what is it like? What are you hoping that they're gonna get? Besides like,
Yeah.
I just learned that Chuck's a D and I'm a C, but
Right, right. Yeah. Um, so, I work with a lot of different people. My most recently, one of my clients just put up a one-woman show. Another one, uh, I I helped her. So she took the screenwriting program and then she hired me to work one-on-one with her, and she just won an award for the screenplay that she got that she created.
Wow.
Um, and so I think the biggest thing is that they can learn from my mistakes so that I can kind of um, consolidate the time that it takes for them to do something based on, because I've already made the mistakes. I can kind of guide them in a way so that they can do it more quickly, um, and kind of hold their hand. I think that it's hard to put your heart out there. And so having someone like a coach that can, be there for you on a weekly basis and kind of cut it into small chunks so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. It's surprising what you can do, when you're not alone and you have a plan made by someone who's already done it. So in terms of what they get out of it, I want them to feel like, oh, you know, I've gotten so much further than I could have gotten alone. And I tell my clients it sometimes it takes just as much energy to sit on a dream as it does to create the dream. So you might as well do it.
Yeah. Yeah. Because there's something to, be said about just getting in there, even if you're going to mess it up, you should
Hmm.
still try, right?
Yes.
Especially if you have the creative drive and you have, a story, and however you want to express that, whether it's visually, whether it's in writing or music. If you have that, you should try to get it out there for the world. I realize that's put you in an incredibly vulnerable spot, right? Because now somebody else is going to hear or see or watch what you do, but I think it's in the end
Right. And
rewarding.
and and to not wait till something is perfect.
Oh
People
yeah.
have asked me like, wow, you've done 6 films. How are you so prolific? And I'm like, well, there's not much difference between me and other people. A lot of people have a lot of ideas, but they wait until it's perfect to put it
right.
out. And I don't. I know that it's not going to ever be perfect. It's going to be framed at, this is at this time and this moment, this is what it looks like.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm sharing with the world. Um, so yeah, if I waited for it to be perfect, it just never would go out.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you ever, when you're watching your films, is it ever hard where you're kind of like looking at it going, oh, I should have done this and this, as opposed
Oh,
to just
absolutely.
taking it in?
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Especially, with this um, retrospective that we did, was it last weekend? So I was watching all of the films in order
Oh,
that I created them. So, you can see my journey as a filmmaker. And of course, there are things like, oh, I wish I would have done that there. I wish, but there was also times where I was like, I was so caught up in, I was like, what? I wonder what's going to happen next. So, yeah, I think both are prevalent.
Yeah.
Just enjoying that that's what it was when it was, and appreciating it. It's like when you think about when you were 6 years old, were you perfect? No. Was it so much fun? Yes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So
Exactly.
just kind of celebrating different stages.
Yeah. So when you were looking back from when you got started to where you're at now, what have been some of the biggest like revelations for you in terms of your craft?
Hmm. That's a pretty broad question. Can you
In
make it a
terms of
little more?
like maybe like making films and getting them out there, what has been a kind of something that's changed your perspective from when you started to where you're at right now?
I think, the difference between just dreaming and doing, like um that that's the only way you prove to yourself that you can do something is by doing it, you know? Um, and so I do have a level of confidence that I wouldn't have if I wouldn't have made all those mistakes.
Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
So,
Yeah.
um, when I'm meeting with an investor or something, I'm not saying, hey, I'd like to make a film and I think I know how. I'm like, I've done 6 films. I know how to do it. I
Right.
know, you know, I know what not to do this time and, and what to do this time. So it's just given me a level of confidence, I would say, um, in my craft.
Excellent. And what do
And
you think?
also, like I
Oh,
said, knowing what I have yet to do, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So, sort of along those lines, what keeps you curious and wanting to make new films?
Well, I don't know if it's so much, I mean, maybe it's curiosity, but I don't know. This was the one question that I had a hard time answering I have like a group in the Dancing Star Creative Academy, and they were like, you know, what do you do when you have writer's block or,
Yeah. How do
when
you
you're
stay
blocked?
motivated? Yeah.
And I'm kind of the opposite. Excuse my French, but I have like diarrhea. I have like like so many ideas are coming all the time that it's about pushing back ideas and going, like even just the universal chord. I wasn't planning on doing that. I was planning on doing a whole other different film. The bicentennial was coming up,
Mm-hmm.
and there was all this, promotion about, oh, you should make a film, I should make a film. And so people kept sending me like, oh, you should, make a film for this. And I was like, I have 12 other films ready to go. I'm not going to do that. But every time they did that, an idea would come, and then another idea, and then another idea. And so I ended up hiring a 17-year-old writer to help me with it. And we got the script done in like 2 months.
Wow.
So, yeah, I don't know. Ideas are coming all the time. And I just wish I had the funding to put them all out there. So I don't have much trouble coming up with ideas or, having blocks of any kind. It's more the opposite problem. Like they're always coming through,
Yeah.
and I want to find homes for all my babies. I'm
That's
not sure
awesome.
that entirely. Did that
Yeah, it
answer the
does. Yeah.
Yeah.
question?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's fantastic.
So this is sort of a kind of going back to some of the questions we were asking earlier. But when people look at Dancing Star Productions from the outside, what do you think? I mean, I guess, what do you hope that they'll understand about the work that you're doing? Because you got a lot going on. You're producing stuff, and you've got an academy, and you've got like what do you hope that they understand about your whole body of work that you're doing?
Well, that the through line is about upliftment, that it's about inspiration, that whether you are creating a film yourself, we do also have coming up in April 26th, the Dancingstar Uplifting Film Festival. So, people can go to Dancingstar Productions, they can watch our films, and then if they're inspired to do so, they can learn how to make their own films and then be a part of a film festival. And then the winners of the film festival will actually have on our distribution site. So it's
Oh,
kind of a one-stop shop. We also are for hire. So if somebody needs something done, we can also be hired to do that. But it has to be an uplifting project. So that's kind of the through line of all of it, and it doesn't have to be like, oh, a happy, happy, happy film all the way through. It can be, can definitely have its valleys, but the through line is that each thing has to feel like it's enlightening, entertaining, uplifting in some way. Because there are a lot of other people doing a lot of other things in a lot of other ways, but
hmm.
that's kind of our brand is uplifting films.
I love
Yeah.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're about 10, 15 minutes out from our final question. Is there anything you wanted to talk about that we haven't touched on yet? I think we've talked
Touched a
about,
lot. Yeah.
yeah, we've talked
Um,
about a number of things, but the film festival, maybe tell us a little bit more about, I mean, you talked about that, but
yeah. Yeah, that could be so it's on Film Freeway. It's I think filmfreeway.com, and then Dancing Star Uplifting Short Film Fest. Gosh, I wish I knew the actual slug line for that. But so for films that are under 40 minutes and have some kind of uplifting, and we have student submission rates and that kind of thing. And then we're going to be doing it at Hearsay Brewery
Oh,
on the
we
26th.
love them.
Yeah, we love them. Yes, yes,
yeah.
yes. So it'll be a day-long festival of short films. Um, so yeah, looking forward to that. Fundraising, if people want to get involved in producing films, like I said, we have Sally Struthers on board for the next film, and we are fundraising to be able to get Sabrina Carpenter and Iggy Pop involved. So
Nice.
if people want to be um, you know, angel investors um, that, and I really would like to get Ann Arbor people involved, especially who were in the music scene in 1969, so that it has a very authentic feel to it. I was in my mother's belly at that moment. So it's been very interesting to research about what I was marinating in. Um, but people who are around during that time that might want to, invest in a film like that and really get Ann Arbor out on the map.
Yeah.
Um, that would be fantastic.
That's fantastic. You know,
Yeah.
I was when you were talking about Ann Arbor and film, I was curious. This, is fictionalized, but have you ever thought of, or have you done nonfiction kind of documentaries where they're talking
Yeah.
about the history of those things?
So there's just one documentary on the site. It's called Poly Views of Polyamory. And so it's all differing viewpoints on polyamory. Sometimes people hear that and they think it's just people who are polyamorous talking about being polyamorous. So I'm kind of been working with the title, but it's, monogamous people, people who are single, just kind of talking about polyamory and the different ways that they they think about it or practice it.
Uh-huh.
So that has been my first documentary, and um, I enjoy it, but it's not quite as satisfying for me as narrative film work. I kind of like, as opposed to documenting a world that's already there, creating the world.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Really, it's harder for me. It's much easier for me to do a documentary than a narrative film. because you have to create the world, but it's also more kind of fulfilling for me.
Yeah. Wow. Yeah.
People have asked me about, like, doing a documentary about my dad, or,
Oh yeah, for
things
sure.
like that. And I'm not opposed to it. I also feel like it'd be great to do something along the lines of street stories,
Oh,
listening to the homeless people around and their stories. So I mean, I feel like everyone is a light with a story to tell. It's just stopping and listening.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I have a
That's a
couple questions,
Yes,
but
yes,
one, could you tell our listeners a little bit more about your dad and
sure.
the
Yeah.
t-shirt
hmm
place?
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. So I love my daddy. He's the best. So he started, it was used to be called Super Shirts originally in 1977. Started out in our garage in the Hazley area. And then he continued being a gym teacher, and had a store. Gosh, where was the first one? The first one I'm remembering right now is 4th Street. Anyway, he's had, many stores all over the place. And like for 30 years on Main Street. Now he has a small shop on Liberty and a small shop in the arcade, which used to be the Van Boven's shoe store.
Okay.
oh, oh, okay.
So it's like 17 Nichols Arcade, and really cute
I,
shop. And he and his girlfriend are working that together, and it's really great for game days. And um, kind of a segue. I don't know if I should give it away, but um, my father was very instrumental in, when the guys come out and they touch the M Club supports
Oh
you.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
My dad was a very instrumental in starting that tradition.
Oh
So
wow.
um, that's one of the stories that you'll hear about in Universal Chord.
Oh,
Awesome. Oh, that'll be
wow.
fun. That's
Yeah,
That would be
oh
fun.
yeah,
yeah,
that's so cool.
yeah.
Now I
Excellent.
completely forgot my second
The other
question.
question? I'm sure it was a good one.
It was. I'll think of it after we're done, but I was like, I got two questions and now I can only think of one.
That's
But
funny, because I was going to ask you, do you want to ask the other question first? Because I'm like that too. I won't remember the second one. But yeah,
I should have wrote it down. Yeah.
Right.
Um,
okay. If you think of it, if you can, feel free to
yeah.
ask me later. But
Yeah. Um,
yeah.
so Chuck, you got any more questions you want to shoot off?
Well, I can't think of anything else other than our wrap up question. What do you think? Should we? Are you, Christina? Are you ready?
Yes, I'm
Here it
ready.
is. All right. So,
Yes.
it's what is your perfect Michigan day? So, where would you go? What would you do? And what beverage would you finish it off with?
Let's see. A perfect Michigan day would be waking up with a love and having maybe a meditation session and going for a walk. I live out near Delhi Park,
Oh,
so in my scenario, it would probably be like a warm, either summer or fall day. Um, and then I'm a part of the ecstatic dance community, so maybe going dancing, having a nice lunch, maybe at Zingerman's. I think I would do dinner at Aventura. That's one of my favorite
oh, nice.
restaurants in Ann Arbor. Um, it would probably involve some kind of creation, some kind of like, um, shooting a film in the afternoon or something like that. Um, and then making love and having hot cocoa afterwards.
All right.
All right.
Excellent.
That
Uh,
sounds like a lovely day.
yeah.
Got a love in there.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I didn't mention my kids in that, but they would be there in some, you know, some scenario too. I have two lovely boys. So a day wouldn't be complete without seeing them too.
Yeah. Oh, that's fantastic. Well, Christina, thank you so much for being on the Life in Michigan podcast. It's been fabulous, and I can't wait to watch more of your films because it sounds.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you for, asking really thought-provoking questions, deep questions, and just listening deeply. It was very, very sweet experience. I appreciate you both.
Thank you. And I'm going to think of that other question.
Okay. It'll be 3:00 in the middle of the night. You'll call me up. I got it.
I got it.
All right. Well, thank you again, Christina. Thank you so much for listening. Be sure to hit subscribe on your favorite podcast service to catch every episode of Life in Michigan. Help us spread the word by rating the show, sharing it with your friends, your neighbors, your family, your mail carrier. Share it with everybody, and leave a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Stay connected by following us on our website and social media. This is a Life in Michigan production. Until next time, take care and have a fantabulous day in Michigan.